and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Phoenix Saturday Night Soccer is calling. Join Phoenix Rising on August 2nd at 7:30 p.m. as they take on Birmingham Legion in a can't-miss summer showdown. Enjoy the popular $4 3-for-3 menu with a $4 all-beef hot dog and $3 drink specials available all game long. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours now at phxrisingfc.com. Great food, great match, all for a great price.
America. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By honoring your sacred vocation of business, you impact your family, your friends, and your community. At Grand Canyon University, our MBA degree program is 100% online, with emphases in business analytics and finance to help you reach your goals. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
When you're together and there's love and laughter, it's the perfect time to play. With new games like Strike It Rich and Instant Cash Scratchers from the Arizona Lottery, you can play for up to $500,000 in prizes. And every time you play, you're uplifting your community because a portion of every ticket sale goes back to vital programs in Arizona. So play for fun, to connect with friends and family, and of course, the chance to win big. Arizona Lottery. Love the play.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we can be connected here and there.
¡Listos todos! Estas son las mañanitas.
Now we just need to harmonize.
Switch today. Get 4 Samsung Galaxy S25 phones with Galaxy AI. Plus, get 4 lines for just $25 per line. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. For well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Minimum 4 lines on plan. Contact us with canceling lines. Plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Jack here. My bonus Jack combo starting at $3.99 comes with fries, a drink, and a burger with 1, 2, or 3 patties. It's a meal that'll actually make you happy. Starting at $3.99. Get so much more.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Plus tax. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
The lunch break MLB trade deadline extravaganza is what we are calling today, the Thursday edition of the program. We've got you covered for the next 2 hours. Everything going on in baseball, everything going on with the Arizona Diamondbacks right here on KDUS AM 1060. You want to stream the show over on the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Chris Schubert with you on one of my favorite days of the year. This and the NFL draft for me are 1 and 1A in my favorite sports days of the year because baseball is my favorite sport. And a day like today where we've got a team that we talk about every day on this program that is at the center of everything that is going on in the baseball world right now. Moves are happening all over the place. Should be a lot of fun. So if you love baseball, today is the show for you. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us. Would love to have you weigh in today as the Diamondbacks make moves, or you want to weigh in on the moves the Diamondbacks have already made because, yes, they made another one last night, which we will get to here in a second. Now, we need to set the stage. Producer Evan, do you have the sound effect ready to go? Just so we just need to let people know. If you hear this sounder while I am talking, that is your cue. Something happened. Producer Evan has some update for us. There's a trade. It might not mean Merrill Kelly or Zach Allen or Lourdes Gurriel. It may not mean a Diamondbacks trade, but something happened in the world of baseball that he is going to bring to us. So I am prepared today to be interrupted. I am prepared today for all of my good takes to be derailed by that sound effect because we've got 4 hours until the trade deadline, and anything that happens in the 2 hours that we are on the air today, we will bring to you, because even if it doesn't involve the Diamondbacks, it actually could involve the Diamondbacks because of what other teams may be doing and positions that are coming off the board. So that is what today's show is about. We start the show, though, with the move that was made late last night into the wee hours of the morning because the Diamondbacks were busy.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
So he got in the lineup, took a couple of at-bats, showed everybody that he was okay, that he was healthy. And then he was sent off to the Seattle Mariners last night. The Diamondbacks trading Eugenio Suarez, getting back 3 prospects in return. I'll tell you, when I saw the alert on my phone that it was Seattle that was acquiring Eugenio Suarez, I was a little bit shocked, a little bit surprised. I thought after they acquired Josh Naylor that would kind of be it. But the two teams circled back to one another, and they were able to get this deal done. And this is not a surprise that they moved Eugenio Suarez. This was the right thing to do for the future of this organization. They needed to maximize the value for a guy who's hit 36 home runs before the trade deadline, the most home runs ever hit by a player traded at the deadline, beating Mark McGwire in 97 when he hit 34 before the deadline, getting traded to the Cardinals from the A's. And this is a major move for this franchise. Now, on the surface, this return doesn't excite me. On the surface, this return feels a little lighter than what I thought it was going to be for a player of Eugenio Suarez's magnitude. Maybe the fact that he was a rental player played into this. Perhaps the cold streak he has been on over the last couple of games and weeks played into this. Maybe getting hit by pitch the other day played a role in this, but just not the value that I expected it to be. But I am not going to open the program and slam the Diamondbacks for making this move and not getting back a stronger package, because I want to wait to see what the final picture looks like today. I want to see if that sounder plays a couple of times during the show because the Diamondbacks do stuff. I want to see what their complete haul is today, because honestly, I would have loved to have seen a starting pitcher brought back in this trade. I would have loved the Diamondbacks to prioritize getting one of the more highly sought after Seattle Mariners prospects. They didn't really touch the top end of this farm system. So it did feel light. That doesn't mean it was a bad trade. Clearly the Diamondbacks liked these 3 players. And let's tell you about the 3 players, headlined by Tyler Locklear, a 24-year-old first baseman who's taking over Eugenio Suarez's spot on the roster and is now going to fill in for the hole that has been left by Josh Naylor, a 24-year-old who had some ABs in the majors last year, has hit well down in Tacoma, the AAA affiliate for the Seattle Mariners. And I want to share something with you that I think is important, because not going to try to pass myself off as a Tyler Locklear expert, right? Not up to tabs on the Seattle Mariners farm system. But I do like to peruse what other people are saying about this player. And the best place to do that is go to the people that have covered him. Go to the people that know more about the Seattle farm system than me. Go to the people who keep tabs on this type of stuff. And so Oliver Bakhtor on Twitter, who covers the Seattle Mariners and covers their prospect system. He covers the draft in minor league baseball. Lives up in Seattle. Here's what he had to say about Tyler Locklear. Tyler Locklear adjusted a high, noisy hand load in early June. Since June 11th, his average exit velo has gone from 87.1 to 94.9 miles per hour. His hard hit rate jumped from 38.2 to 54%. His barrel and launch angle have gone up. He was previously hitting with 265 with a 316 slug against fastballs. He's now hitting 394 with a 784 slug. So a change in his swing, a change in his mechanics have led to all of the things you want to see increase. Average exit velo, how hard you're hitting the ball, the barrel rate, how much you're squaring up the baseball, the launch angle, that equals power. And now he's able to attack fastballs, which was a weak spot for him. Now, I don't know if you're going to get better production out of a 24-year-old than you would if you would have just held on to Josh Naylor, right? Josh Naylor, a proven player at this level. But that being the headline piece, is at least a solid option for this team going into next season. I think it's fair to say Tyler Locklear, the favorite to be the starting first baseman for the 2026 Diamondbacks, a young, under-control player who's changed his swing a little bit, has seen some improvements in that swing. Would love to see what it looks like at the big league level here over the rest of the season. So that's one of the major prospects brought back in this trade. The other prospect that excites me is right-hander Juan Burgos, a reliever that debuted earlier this season for the Mariners. And boy, if you look under the hood, all of the things that you want to see. A great strikeout rate, a great walk rate, off-speed pitches that grade out really well in terms of the stuff, the pure stuff. And I want guys added to my bullpen that strike guys out, have that swing and miss, but more importantly, they don't flirt with danger. They're not walking guys. They are keeping the bases clean. Look at what some of the other teams in baseball are doing right now. Look at what the contenders are doing right now at the deadline. Producer Evan, your team has been doing this. My baseball team, the New York Mets, have been doing this. They're acquiring relievers that are elite at keeping guys off the base paths, low walk rate, and guys that have swing and miss stuff. That's what you have in the postseason. Guys are going to be able to put the ball in play against you. You're going to need relievers that come in and maybe they're in a second and third, one out. You can't allow contact. You can't allow that run to score. You need to have that elite swing and miss stuff. Burgos appears to have at least the makings of what could be some elite stuff. And you add that clearly Mike Hazen right now. Would I love them to have added a bona fide starter so far in this return with the three pieces that they've moved? Yes, I'm still waiting for that. Guess what? Easily 2 more trades for them to make today for them to get that player back in return. But right now, clearly, there is an emphasis from Mike Hazen. I am going to rebuild my 2026 bullpen on the fly. I am just retooling it. You got Brandon Garcia, who's been in the big league roster now. Andrew Hoffman made his first appearance for Reno last night, who they got back in the Randall Grichuk trade. He had a scoreless inning for Reno, did walk a couple, gave up a hit, but a scoreless outing. And now you add Juan Burgos, the other reliever that was brought in this trade, Hunter Cranton, who is yet to pitch above high A. He's coming back from a variety of injuries, more of a lottery ticket for the future. So you got 2 players that I think fit in for the remainder of this season, that fit in for 2026. And so again, from that lens, I like what they're doing here. Do I think they could have done better? Yes. Do I think this is lighter than what I thought the return would be for a guy hitting 36 home runs before the deadline, was an all-star, top power bat available? You betcha. But do I think the Diamondbacks did well? I think they made themselves better. They made themselves younger. They gave them more cost-controlled players. And I think you've got somebody. Now, guess what? Tyler Locklear is going to be the first baseman every day for the final 2 months of the season. Your job to lose, kid. These bullpen arms that they're acquiring in these deals, the last 2 months, you're going to get chance after chance after chance to go out there and prove that you deserve a spot in the 2026 bullpen for this team. And oh, by the way, as soon as he's healthy, again, I'm asking for an update from anybody on Jordan Lawler. You've now opened up third base for us to see everyday Jordan Lawler, who's proven everything that he's need to prove down in Reno, down in AAA. It's now time to get him everyday reps, 3-4 at-bats every single day, being a regular player, getting that opportunity to make those adjustments, make those improvements. That is the other part of this trade. You have now freed up the path for Jordan Lawler to be an everyday player for you once he is healthy.
Let me ask you this kind of strange question. Something I thought about this morning. Does it bother you at all that they dipped from the same prospect pool twice?
Meaning making the 2 trades with Seattle? Again, it's why I opened by saying I was kind of surprised this is where the 2 sides came back to, because to me, right, Suarez the better bat than Naylor. So certainly, in my head, the way the Naylor trade went down is Seattle called up Mike Hazen. Jerry DiPoto called up Mike Hazen and said, hey, what's it going to take for Suarez? Clearly, there wasn't really a excitement level from Seattle side to do that trade, and so they pivoted and got the Naylor deal done. So what you could extrapolate from this is that the price came down on Suarez since the Naylor trade last Friday, and Mike Hazen and the Diamondbacks were a little worried that they maybe overshot it a little bit, and then Seattle swooped back in and made a deal. That, if you want to say that's me worrying about going to the same prospect pool twice, they made 2 trades with Seattle. They got none of their top guys. I do feel like that's a little bit of a miss. But I think this is more that maybe the Diamondbacks overplayed their hand a little bit. Maybe they waited too long, right? I said sellers want to go last, right? Ask the Giants. They feel pretty good about the return they got for Tyler Rogers yesterday, right? The Twins probably feel really good about the return they got for Johan Duran yesterday, right? Stephen Kwan's going to move today. The A's feel pretty good about what they gave up for Mason Miller.
Certainly.
I have thoughts on that we'll probably get to at some point in the 2 hours. Again, 2 hours of baseball today. So if you love baseball, this is the show for you. We've got this for you today on this program. Football, basketball, it's to the side today. We'll get back to it tomorrow. I know the Hall of Fame game is tonight. Who cares? You know what? I have a drop for this.
Who cares?
Baseball day today.
Real quick, you know what is fun about the Hall of Fame game?
Okay.
It's two coaches who care, which is going to make it a little bit more fun.
That is more football than I wanted to discuss here today on the program. But no, I worry about missing out on the top end of the Seattle farm system, and I do worry that maybe Mike Hazen overplayed his hand. Do I hate the return for Eugenio Suarez? I don't hate it. Would I say that I love it? No. Would I say that I like it? I'm intrigued by it? Yes, because the first thing I do when I get these trade packages and I see the return, I'm looking up StatCast pages. I'm looking up FanGraphs pages. I got to see. I'm looking under the hood. What did the Diamondbacks see? And you can tell by looking at Tyler Locklear's progress this season down in AAA, and you look at some of the under the hood stuff from Juan Burgos, you feel like you see what the Diamondbacks saw in those two players, that they felt that they were ready to help them right now. So I don't worry about it. I don't love it. I don't love what it may mean in terms of what did they miss out on by not moving Eugenio Suarez over the days previously, because it does feel like a light return. But I think the Diamondbacks overall, they clearly love the three players that they got back. They prioritized these three guys, and they felt like this was the best deal that was available to them, and they did not feel like they were going to get a better deal today. So to answer your weird question, and listen, let's get weird. Let's get strange on a day like today. I'm not super worried about that. And I think the best part about making that deal last night is Diamondbacks have a lot of business to take care of today. Merrill Kelly and or Zach Gallen could be on the move. Potentially Jake McCarthy and Lourdes Gurriel could be on the move. There are other things that they can do. That's a lot of balls to be juggling in the air at the same time, in addition to also potentially trading Eugenio Suarez. So getting that done last night frees them up to really laser focus in on trading the two starters. So that's the other reason why you get the deal done late last night. Not a lot of sleep in MLB front offices yesterday into today.
No.
A lot of coffee.
Couldn't believe, honestly. It was fun. Last night, I went to go see Fantastic Four.
Okay. Did you like it? I haven't seen it yet.
I did like it.
Okay.
I thought it was good. It was one of the better Marvel movies put out recently, certainly. Walked out of there, and my phone's blowing up in like my sweatshirt pocket. Blowing up. And I'm sitting there. What a horrible time to go see a movie.
In the middle of the MLB trade deadline?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
stupid.
I will tell you, I
swing and a miss.
Yeah, I found myself like attached to my phone and to my computer more this week because you just never know when, like the Mason Miller stuff happened like 5 a.m. this morning. Just
I know.
He's traded. And it's two West Coast teams, right? It's not like an East Coast team, so it's 8, 9 o'clock out there. It's San Diego and Sacramento, Oakland. Like it's early.
No, I couldn't believe that. And some of the trades going through last night at 1 a.m. East Coast time.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Everybody is very busy, and they're going to be very busy. We are inside of 4 hours until the MLB trade deadline. So the Diamondbacks do trade Eugenio Suarez. They open up the pathway for Jordan Lawler to now be the everyday third baseman once he is healthy. They get back a okay return. There are some positives to look at there. They added somebody who can probably be a bullpen arm right away. They added somebody who I think they're going to put right in as their starting first baseman and give him 2 months to get a head start on earning the job for 2026. Again, this all files away into what I think Mike Hazen is trying to do here. He's trying to keep this team competitive in 2026. I do not think they have punted on trying to compete next season, and they are getting a head start on that work right now. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us today. Weigh in on all of the things that we are talking about today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Michael says the rest of the year is for players to get experience looking to 2026. Absolutely. The Diamondbacks, by moving Suarez today, are telling you we're not trying to be relevant and go for it and just hold on to these guys and get the qualifying offer and get the comp pick. They are now reshuffling the deck here. They're now this is all about opportunity. Jordan Lawler, this is your chance to be the everyday third baseman. Tyler Locklear, here's your chance to be the everyday first baseman for a big league club. All of these bullpen arms, Brandon Garcia, Andrew Hoffman, Juan Burgos, this is your chance to show us that you deserve not only a spot in our rotation, our bullpen, but perhaps some medium to high leverage work next season. So that's what this is about, getting these guys valuable experience in a time of the year where the games don't really matter. The results aren't that big of a deal. You just want these guys to get the work at the big league level. And I think that is a theme that you're going to see the rest of the day with what the Diamondbacks do. So they've traded Eugenio Suarez. What's next with 3 hours to go until the deadline? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
The Mazda More to Move You sales event is going on now at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, receive 1.9% financing for up to 60 months on the brand new 2025 Mazda CX-50 or CX-50 Hybrid.
Or receive $10,000 off the top of MSRP when you lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-70 or CX-90 plug-in hybrid. Think of how low your payment will be with those savings. Go to markmazdascottsdale.com.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda, on approved credit plus $998 doc fee.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
No more, Mr. Nice Guy.
The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Hi, welcome to IKEA. Hi, I'm in a whirlwind of college prep. Gotcha. We've got affordable solutions to create the perfect college living space. Great. And visit our website to see how verified college students with an IKEA family account can receive a one-time use 15% off coupon.
Nice. You guys think of everything.
Pretty much. Offer ends 9/30/25. Valid ID required. Discount applied proportionally across items purchased as shown on receipt. See IKEA-USA.com/ready for college for complete terms.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Absolutely nothing worse than trying to play and listen to a broken record or to continue to beat a dead horse. You probably already know exactly where I'm going with this. That's right, to the Dallas Cowboys, America's sideshow, because their carnival barkers are at it again. This time, Stephen Jones is pushing back hard on the rap that the Cowboys drag out their contract negotiations. He says it's just not true. Right, Stephen, what's next? The sky isn't blue? You don't drag out contract negotiations. I'm sure that's news to Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, and Emmitt Smith. Hell, anybody with half a brain. You don't drag out contract negotiations. That's exactly what you do, exactly who you are, and exactly where you live, and exactly what you're known for above all else. Well, that and not playing in or winning anything that matters for more than 30 years now. But whatever works for you, Steva. I'm Jim Rome.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We've got trade wars, rising costs, global chaos, and a skyrocketing national debt. It's no wonder gold keeps hitting record highs. With everything going on in the world, thousands of hardworking Americans are looking to help diversify their savings with precious metals like gold and silver. And they're turning to the top-rated gold company, Goldco. Right now, Goldco is offering you a free 2025 gold and silver kit. Plus, you could get an unlimited instant match and bonus silver if you qualify. Find out how you can diversify your savings, tax and penalty-free today. Call 855-969-GOLD. That's 855-969-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I want to take you inside the operation today as we are in the middle of our MLB trade deadline extravaganza here on the lunch break on KDUS AM 1060. I have a bunch of monitors in front of me. I'm keeping tabs on things, but producer Evan has one monitor dedicated to Jeff Passan's Twitter account. He has another monitor dedicated to John Heyman's Twitter account, and he's just hitting the refresh button. And during the break, he just unprompted said to me, man, I really want to hit the sounder. I really want a reason to hit the sounder for a trade.
If it's not Heyman or Passan and it's somebody else, I got beat. Is what it is. So I'm using my two screens.
And those are the two that you picked, which I think is fair. I think Passan's a good person to have. I think Heyman's a good person to have. And I've got you covered on anything else. Right? If you miss something and I see it, then I'll just tell you to fire off the sounder and we'll be okay. But we just need something to happen in the next 2 hours. I did see the Tigers made a small trade, not sounder worthy. Not sounder worthy. It's not sounder worthy because when the team announces it before anybody else reports it, that's how you know everybody's focusing on other things right now. So some small trades have happened within the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, but nothing major. We're still keeping an eye on all of the big names, all of the big teams. And so that leads us to this question. What's next for the Arizona Diamondbacks? And it's a very simple question to answer. All of our attention is focused on trading the two starters. It's Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. And so far, it appears as if after what the Padres did this morning, getting Mason Miller and JP Sears from the A's, they are inclined to hold on to Dylan Cease. So Dylan Cease off the board, it does drive up the value for a Zach Gallen or a Merrill Kelly. Both of those guys are now more valuable because there are less options out there. And so I think the priority right now for Mike Hazen is getting those guys moved and getting back a solid return for those two gentlemen. And I just want to touch on this, and maybe we'll circle back to this as the day progresses when we get into hour number 2 of the program. But I'm seeing a lot of people get on Mike Hazen and get on the Diamondbacks for the return that they got for Eugenio Suarez. And I'm no fan of the return. I don't want to say that I hate it. I think that's strong. I think grading it as an F or a D is too strong. But I've seen a lot of grades for the Eugenio Suarez move. And I think that's an unfair way to judge things. I think the right way to do this is later on today or perhaps tomorrow, you're able to take a step back and look at the whole picture. That these are the guys they moved out, and this is what they brought back in. Because while you think, and I think, that they should have gotten more from Seattle for Eugenio Suarez, that they should have gotten one of the good pitching prospects, starting pitching prospects that Seattle has, that they perhaps should have gotten one of the top 100 prospects that Seattle has. And remember, we said top 100 prospects should probably be the bar for this. Let's look at the whole picture. Because if at the end of all of this, they get more from Merrill Kelly than we thought, or they get more for Zach Gallen than we thought, doesn't it kind of balance out? What if they get a really good starting pitching prospect for Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen, and we didn't think that they could do that? So that's why I'm going to take this as the whole complete puzzle. Let's see what Mike Hazen is able to do between now and 3 o'clock this afternoon. If he doesn't get good returns for Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, I'll be right there with you. I'll be underwhelmed by the job done at the trade deadline for Hazen. I'll like some of it. I think they've moved a little bit in the right direction, but it will feel like they missed a little bit. But let's get to 3 o'clock. Let's see if they move Merrill Kelly. Let's see if they move Zach Gallen. Let's see what they get back for those guys before we're judging individual trades. Because on the surface, I'd agree with you, it doesn't look like a lot. But in the big picture, in the grand scheme, if at the end of the day we can say that the Diamondbacks get themselves a starting first baseman for next year, they've added 3 relievers for next season, they opened up a pathway for Jordan Lawler to play every day, and in their other moves, they added some starting pitching prospects for the future, I think we'd be happy with that. I think we would be excited about the direction that they're choosing to go in. I think we would say that 2026, they've started the work already, and they've put themselves in a better spot. So let's get there. And John over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel says, what if they don't do all those things? Then we criticize. Then we judge. Then we say, you know what? Yeah, the D grade, the C- grade for the trade deadline is warranted. I am not going to judge a television show or a movie until I see it to its conclusion. Producer Evan, you went to Fantastic Four last night. You didn't stop in the middle of the movie and stand up in front of everybody and say, you know what? This movie stinks. This movie's terrible. I'm out of here. And you skipped and you didn't watch the rest of the movie. No, you stayed there for the 2.5, 3 hours that the movie was, and you made your judgment after you walked out of the theater.
You watched the whole movie.
You watched the whole movie. So watch the whole trade deadline. Do not make full judgments on what Mike Hazen and the Diamondbacks have done until we get to 3 o'clock. If we get to 3 o'clock and they don't get a decent return from Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, and they have an underwhelming return for Eugenio Suarez like we think it is, then yeah, let's be critical. Let's say, you know what? They missed a chance here. They let the moment pass them by. Maybe they waited too long to trade Suarez. Maybe they waited too long to trade those two starters. I will be more than happy to be in the weeds with all of you and have that conversation. I'm just not doing it at 11:31 on trade deadline day when we've got 3.5 hours of business left to conduct. You may be surprised what Mike Hazen's able to pull off. And I can hear the people now calling me a Mike Hazen defender, a Mike Hazen stan. I get that. Let's wait until 3 o'clock before we judge everything. Eugenio Suarez on the move last night, going to Seattle. The big thing we are keeping an eye on right now for the Diamondbacks is the starting pitching market. Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen both, at least as of this time, a sounder has not played in my ear yet. So I think those two guys are still with the Diamondbacks. And so we'll see what happens with that. But that leads us into what we're going to do on the other side of the break, because those two are a part of a larger conversation. The starting pitching market in Major League Baseball here with 3.5 hours to go until the deadline, it's pretty quiet. What's going on? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us. The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. What did you say? Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Energy efficiency, rebates. Every day at APS, you have ways to save energy and money. We know how important it is to keep your bill as low as possible. That's why we offer programs to help you manage your energy use. Schedule a home energy checkup for savings recommendations tailored to your home. Find rebates on smart thermostats. Compare your rate plan options and switch to the plan that would have saved you the most money. Find ways to save at aps.com/brighter.
Hi, Luis Gonzalez here. Want to bet? Feel the thrill of Casino Arizona with 1,400 of the hottest slots and nonstop table game action. We make winners, no experience necessary. Join us for the best bingo in the valley with daily sessions. Indulge in all-you-can-eat Eagles Buffet or enjoy fine dining experience at the award-winning Choyo Steakhouse. Enjoy top-notch local entertainment, tribute bands, and viewing parties at CAZ Sports Bar, just off the 101 in McKellips. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona.
At Nationwide Vision, we make the back-to-school season crystal clear for you and your kids. With convenient scheduling and personalized treatment plans for the whole family, we keep things simple and stress-free, so your kids can face the day with confidence. Because vision shapes learning, and learning shapes life. Get 50% off a complete pair, and give your family the clarity to thrive in every part of their journey. Schedule an appointment today to find your focus at Nationwide Vision.
Stay at the heart of it all with a special Cliff Castle room rate starting at just $99 with no resort fees. Less fees mean more ways to choose your next adventure at the gateway to the region's best gaming, entertainment, and natural wonders. And expect service from the heart as well. We think you'll love your stay with us and all the value we provide, starting at just $99 with no added fees. Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, at the heart of it all. Valid Sunday through Thursday. Some restrictions apply. An enterprise of the Yavapai Apache Nation.
At Sprouts, you'll find healthy around every corner and tasty on every shelf. And you know what's even more delicious? With our new Sprouts Rewards, you can earn points, explore member-only perks and personalized offers, and enjoy savings. Download the Sprouts app to join today.
The UPS store has high-quality, industry-approved packaging materials. So stop by and get 15% off packing materials and protect it with our pack and ship guarantee. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee or a location near you for full details.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
You're live.
We are still going to do buy or sell here about 10 minutes from now. I'm assuming all baseball related, but I don't know. Producer Evan could try to sneak in another sport. Certainly possible.
It's possible.
What happens?
I don't want to tip my hand.
Now, here's an interesting thing. What happens if we get a trade during buy or sell?
And no buy or sell.
We're just buy or sell. Just
hit the sounder and move on.
Buy or sell,
especially if it's Kelly, Gallen,
for sure. Those obviously,
Lourdes.
Yeah, those obviously would be big moves. The thing we're all keeping an eye on right now, and if you're just joining us, the lunch break MLB trade deadline extravaganza. We are waiting to see if the Diamondbacks will move Merrill Kelly and or Zach Gallen ahead of the 3 p.m. deadline later on this afternoon. They traded Eugenio Suarez late last night to Seattle. So for those of you keeping tabs at home, it is Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, Randall Grichuk, the players that have been sent out by the Diamondbacks. And so far, they have brought back some pieces, mainly some bullpen help, a guy in Tyler Locklear who can play first base for them and will play first base for them more than likely for the rest of the season. And so that is where things stand as we approach the 3-hour mark until the deadline. And so we said this in the last segment, we're going to wait to judge the entire deadline for the Diamondbacks until 3 o'clock rolls around. And so Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, the players that we're focusing on, which means we're keeping a very close eye on the starting pitching market across baseball. And I'll tell you, if I had a cricket sound effect, this is where I would insert it because there's not a whole lot of movement in that regard. Dylan Cease was supposedly one of the top options available. It appears that after what the Padres did today, Dylan Cease ain't going to be on the move. Padres are pushing the chips into the middle again, going for it. Having a good season, close enough to the Dodgers where you could convince yourself that one good hot streak combined with a Dodgers cold streak could see the Padres playing for the division in September. We know that the Padres had the Dodgers up against it in the postseason last year. So A.J. Preller not afraid to go for it. Looks like Dylan Cease isn't going to be on the move. Mackenzie Gore, everybody thought Washington would be interested in moving Mackenzie Gore. They've backed off of that. Mitch Keller in Pittsburgh. Looks like they're going to hold on to him. Paul Skeens isn't going where anytime soon. So some of the big name pitchers that everybody's been talking about are now off the market. So who's still left on the market? Well, guess what? Joe Ryan, Minnesota Twins, still available. I know that it's a fire sale right now in Minnesota to the point where people are wondering if Carlos Correa could be on the move before 3 p.m. today. So a fire sale in Minnesota, but Joe Ryan not going anywhere yet. Sandy Alcantara not going anywhere, at least as of this moment. He's still in Miami. Edward Cabrera not going anywhere. The trio of starters in Baltimore, Charlie Morton, Zach Eflin, those guys haven't moved yet. The starting pitching market in baseball
ahead of the trade deadline is very slow. It is still slow. 3 hours to go. But the more that these other teams decide to not move their starters, the more we get Pittsburgh saying, you know what, we're not going to trade Mitch Keller. Hey, you know what? Dylan Cease isn't available. That is better for the Diamondbacks. And it is particularly better for the return that they're going to get from Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly might be the best starting pitcher available on the market right now. If Dylan Cease truly isn't available, Mitch Keller is not available, Merrill Kelly statistically this season is probably the best starter available. And guess what? That is music to Mike Hazen's ears. It is music to my ears because that's going to drive up the return for a starter. And in turn could drive up the price for Zach Gallen. What have I said all week long? What have I said for the last 2 weeks? Buyers want to go first. Sellers want to go last. We are in a seller's market right now when it comes to starting pitching because nobody has broke through that wall yet. And you know that once you set the price, once Joe Ryan gets moved or once Zach Gallen gets moved, once Edward Cabrera gets moved, that's going to set the mark for the rest of these players that are available. So it is very slow moving. I asked the question before the break, what happened to the starting pitching market? What's going on with the starting pitching market? The answer is nothing. Nothing is going on with the starting pitching market. Nobody has really moved. The focus for a lot of these teams has been on relief help. We saw 3 relievers move yesterday in big name deals. We saw a big reliever get moved this morning in Mason Miller. And I think we're still waiting on David Bednar in Pittsburgh. We're waiting on potentially Griffin Jackson, Minnesota could be on the move. So some big names still out there available ahead of the deadline. That's where a lot of the focus has been. The focus has not been on the starting pitchers. I think that's going to change here. It's going to change very quickly, probably in the next 45 minutes to an hour.
The only thing that I've truly heard on Alcantara or Edward is that the Yankees are interested.
Well, and the Marlins,
they wanted Spencer. They wanted Spencer Jones.
The Marlins have asked for one of the Yankees' top prospect in Spencer Jones, and the Yankees have said, according to John Heyman, that they will only trade Spencer Jones in a deal for Paul Skeens.
And
Paul Skeens is not going anywhere, so ergo Spencer Jones isn't going anywhere.
And then John Heyman has reported that the Yankees remain in on the Bednar sweepstakes.
Yes, we are waiting on David Bednar to get moved, and the Yankees do appear to be the leader right now in the clubhouse for that. But we'll see what happens. Again, these things are very fluid. They change very, very quickly. And the hitting market is starting to develop. Phillies made a move today to get Harrison Bader. Luis Robert looks like he's not going to be on the move in Chicago. Stephen Kwan, a move there appears likely. So if you're a team that's looking to add a bunch of pieces, you got a lot of stuff that you're juggling right now because you need to keep certain capital back to make a move for a reliever, but maybe that capital is also being asked for Stephen Kwan, if that's who you're inquiring about, or Ramon Laureano, or maybe you're trying to get Luis Robert out of Chicago and the price is just too high there. You just are juggling a lot. And so at some point, not right now, there is still enough time. Right now, there isn't the pressure to pick a specific direction. This normally happens about 90 minutes before the trade deadline. Is if you're trying to juggle all of this stuff, you're just going to pick, okay, this is what we're doing. And if it means we can't do this deal, that's fine. If picking this path means plan B, plan C, plan D are out of the equation, fine, so be it, because we need to get this move done because we have other business to attend to. There's still kind of probably this sense of, oh, there's still time. There's 3 hours and 15 minutes until the deadline. Yeah, we'll take a quick 20-minute lunch. We'll get lunch ordered in. We'll take a break.
They're not taking lunch.
No, the lunch is being brought into the war rooms, the command centers.
Do you think, let me ask you this question. Do you think, we never see it on trade deadline day, we never see the war room. You think it's like how it is in an NFL draft war room?
I'm assuming it's probably pretty close. I'm assuming
that's what I've always thought.
Yeah, I'm assuming what you probably will have is a big board of your prospects, and you'll probably put them in buckets of these are the guys we won't move under any circumstance, or the Paul Skeens circumstance. And then you'll have the buckets of, for this type of return, we would do this. And you probably have them up on a big board. And you probably also have the same type of whiteboard for the players available. These are our prime targets. These are the players that maybe everybody else in the league likes, but we see something that we don't like under the hood, so we're not trading for them. And you probably have them in tiers. And you probably have another whiteboard that's outlining scenarios. Okay, what if we got this guy, and this guy, and you paired up a bunch of different buckets? What do we think this does? And you have a bunch of people in there that are going to run the models, they're going to run the predictions, they're going to run the sims, and they're going to tell you what that does to your overall outlook for the rest of the season. So I'm sure it is a very chaotic scene in these war rooms, these command centers for these teams ahead of the deadline. But I'm sure it's very similar. It's a little different on draft night because you're not really worried about your roster. You have your roster up there to see what your needs are, but
you're not trading.
Football doesn't have no sport has a farm system the way baseball does. So baseball is very unique in that regard.
So we don't think it's like Moneyball with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill just sitting in a room.
I don't think that's what it is.
Eating a Twinkie.
No, I think it's a little more involved than that.
Great scene, though.
Very good scene. The fist bump by Jonah Hill's character.
It's awesome.
It's my favorite movie. I should have watched it today, just as a celebration of the MLB trade deadline. But quiet, at least since we woke up this morning, since Eugenio Suarez got moved last night for the Diamondbacks. We are waiting to see their business here over the next 3 hours and 15 minutes. And let me just make something very clear. If you're worried that the Diamondbacks are going to stand pat on these guys, I would not be worried about that. Trading Suarez, trading Naylor, trading Grichuk, I mean, they've told you. This is Minnesota and Arizona, full-blown fire sale mode. You want something from those teams, call about it. It's probably available. So that's the message. Took us 46 minutes to get one of these. What do you got, producer?
The New York Yankees are finalizing a trade to acquire closer David Bednar from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Deal is pending medical review, according to Jeff Passan.
I see Ken Rosenthal on it as well, so we'll see what the return is there. This does not impact, I think, what the Diamondbacks are trying to do. So this is a big move, obviously, in baseball, and that's what we're doing here on the MLB trade deadline extravaganza here on the lunch break. But this doesn't take a name off the board and change the return for starting pitching. So everything remains status quo right now for Mike Hazen and co. But Pittsburgh did ultimately move David Bednar. The Yankees adding to their bullpen. They have a problem right now. They don't have enough starting pitching. These games are getting short on them where they have to go to their bullpen for a lot of outs. And they just need more high-quality arms. Devin Williams has been better as of late, but that deal has not worked out exactly the way that they wanted it to. Luke Weaver got hurt and wasn't good at the beginning part of the season, so they're looking to shore up their bullpen, and this is what Brian Cashman does. When things get tough for them, when they're struggling even offensively, he leans into pitching. That's what he does. Would not be surprised to see him also swing a starter by the end of the day, because right now, if they had to start a playoff series, I don't know who would be their Game 3 starter. Fried and Rodon would start Game 1 and 2. I don't know who would start Game 3. So they are desperately in need for a starter. But this is what this is what Brian Cashman does. He goes out and he gets help for his pitching staff, whether it's in the rotation, in the bullpen. He lands David Bednar, gets himself a reliever for the back end of that bullpen. So we're keeping an eye on everything here in baseball. Let's see if the Diamondbacks can do something here while we are on the air. Buy or sell when we come back to close up hour number 1 of the program. It's a lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Sammy Kayla from the Varsity Sports Show here. No Vince DeLisio this week, only the interns. Join me, Mahirson Hassan, and Colton O'Connor live in studio this Saturday as we bring you another stacked edition of the Varsity Sports Show.
Join us as we welcome new men's lacrosse head coaches Dave O'Neill and Eric Bassett, along with Buckeye High School Athletic Director Matt York and our summer interns. It's all going down Saturday morning, 9 to 11 on KDUS AM 1060, Arizona.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost, theatrical, heavy metal, arena rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
open the lid on a carton of Bluebell Homemade in the Shade, and you'll have it made, so to speak. It's a combination of our top-selling homemade vanilla ice cream with a swirl of rich chocolate fudge sauce. Enjoy an instant classic.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Winco Foods and select Food City stores.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, closing up hour number one of the program. MLB trade deadline day. We're keeping tabs on everything that's going on all across the sport of baseball. We'll keep you up to date the moment we hear anything about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right now, as we close up hour number one of the program, a little buy or sell. But before we do that, make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Colorado Rockies Saturday, August 9th at Chase Field. The first 20,000 fans at the game on Saturday, August 9th, get a Corbin Carroll Rebel Pilot bobblehead, courtesy of Cox. We've got your chance to win 4 tickets for listening on the app or streaming us on KDUS1060.com. You can also get your tickets on sale at dbacks.com/SGT. Buy or sell, the hottest takes in sports talk radio. Will they be all baseball themed today? Will producer Evan mix in something about another sport? Who knows? Take it away, my friend.
It's all baseball.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
The market was smaller for Eugenio Suarez than we had originally thought.
I don't think it was originally. I think the Yankees trading for Ryan McMahon is where this went off the rails. Because they traded for McMahon. The Mariners traded for Naylor, right? There weren't a lot of suitors at that point. Philly was involved. Cincinnati was reportedly involved. But it just felt like the teams that had the most desperation were gone. And that allowed the price to, I think, artificially start to fall a little bit to where the Diamondbacks, I don't want to say they panicked. I think that's unfair. They just didn't get as much as we all thought they were going to get maybe a week ago. And I'll tie it to Ryan McMahon getting traded to the Yankees. So was the market not what we thought? Today, last night it was. I'll buy the take if it's in the moment last night. I think 2 weeks ago, the market was pretty hot for Eugenio Suarez. I think it changed once the Yankees got Ryan McMahon.
I think what you said is exactly true. I think once the desperate teams that needed a bat went out and got somebody different, and once the Reds made a strange move for Brian Hayes,
that's another thing too.
Where does Eugenio Suarez fit there?
That took another team out of the mix.
It just became a little weird, and some of those desperate teams that wanted a big bat for third base just kind of made a move already.
Mm-hmm.
To this point, the Seattle Mariners are the winner of the trade deadline.
I think they've done a great job. I mean, they've added 2 bats to their rotation, or 2 bats to their lineup in Suarez and Naylor. Both sides of the plate covered. Josh Naylor could hit 6th or 7th in their lineup. They have Cal Raleigh. They have Julio Rodriguez. Randy Arozarena is really good. I mean, they've got a really deep lineup. It has always been about their offense. They get great pitching. They've got a great bullpen. They added to it by picking up Caleb Ferguson from the Pirates. I think that's an extremely underrated move.
Everyone's focusing on the big name closers. They got a lefty in Pittsburgh who's putting up some good numbers all year from that side of the mound. They got Munoz as the closer out there. Pitching's always been a strong suit. It's been the offense that's lagged behind. You've got an AL MVP candidate in Cal Raleigh. You've got a lot of young talent, right? J.P. Crawford's a good young player. Julio Rodriguez is a good young player. And now you add veterans in Suarez and Naylor. They've been really good so far at this deadline. I think they're mostly done. Maybe they swing a trade for another reliever, but they've done a really nice job, and I would consider them one of the big winners so far, yes.
I saw people taking them as World Series favorites now in the American League. A lot of people jumped in after they kind of lengthened that lineup.
I think you can make the case that they should be the favorite in the American League.
The MLB trade deadline is one of the most underrated days in all of sports.
I'll buy this just because it's one of my favorite sports days of the year. I said it in the open to the show. This and the NFL the NFL draft night one are my two favorite days in all the sports. And I am incredibly lucky and blessed to be able to do this show every day and be on the air during days like this, to be able to be doing a show on a Thursday before night one of the NFL draft and making our predictions and debating what the Cardinals should do on draft night and who's going to go number one and all that stuff is just absolutely fantastic. And a day like today is also fun. And what makes these types of days fun for me and for you and what we do in this job is this is the best part of sports talk radio. This is all hypothetical. This is all just, we are flying by the seat of our pants. We're reacting to stuff in real time. You get a raw, natural reaction to a trade, where a player's going, what the return is. It's just a lot of fun. So I love days like this. I will buy this as well. Okay?
It's not a massive one.
Okay, but was it from passing?
It was.
Oh, so you're okay. So yeah, that's fine.
The San Diego Padres are acquiring catcher Freddie Fermin.
Yep, Freddie Fermin.
From the Kansas City Royals for right-hander Ryan Berger. ESPN.
So the Padres had a bit of a logjam in their bullpen after getting Mason Miller, and everybody thought Suarez might go, right? He's a free agent at the end of the year. They just got a closer in Mason Miller so they could kind of swap them out, replace some of what they gave up for Mason Miller and JP Sears and kind of come out on the other side in front. Instead, they go to the depth of their relief corps and they get themselves a catcher. They have Martin Maldonado is one of their two catchers there, so maybe looking for an upgrade in that regard. A small move, but one that I think maybe deserves an opportunity to.
Fermin's a decent player. Solid offensive output for a catcher.
Fermin's a decent player. Yes.
Not a huge move, but one that keeps them in the mix.
And the Royals pick up somebody in Bergert who can slide into the back of their rotation and be a fifth starter and eat up some innings. They're dealing with a lot of injuries right there.
And they're doing the old buy-sell.
They're doing the buy-sell. And in some ways, so are the Padres, right? We said Suarez or Cease. Well, instead, they went to the depth of their pitching staff to move Bergert in this deal.
Stephen Kwan will not end up getting traded today.
Yesterday, I would have said yes. I believe there was an earlier version of this buy or sell where I said he was going to stay in Cleveland. There appears to be a growing likelihood that he gets moved. I'm suspicious of that. And the reason why I'm suspicious of that is because apparently they asked for the prospect that Leo DeVries, that the San Diego Padres gave up to get Mason Miller. And I like Stephen Kwan. I don't like him that much. And so unless their price comes down or unless that was an erroneous report, I am not sure if this move is going to happen. But there appears to be a growing likelihood of it. So I'll go with the experts and I'll say, yes, he gets moved.
Speaking of Leo DeVries, the A's will be serious contenders in a few years with all their young talent.
Yeah, a lot of young talent. Rooker, Soderstrom, Kurtz, Jacob Wilson. I mean, you got talent all over the place.
All over. Lawrence Butler.
My apologies.
One of the wizards of the outfield in Denzel Clark.
Very good defender in Denzel Clark, yes. You want to buy into that, right? You want to believe in that young core. And then you're reminded, it's the A's. They always mess this up. They always find a way to just trade these players.
So we say that.
Sure.
But they have been relevant for a lot of time in my lifetime.
I'm going to...
it's not like they've always been bad.
Here's what I want to do. I want to put a pin in this because at the top of hour number 2, we're going to recap where we stand. And I have yet to share my thoughts on the Mason Miller trade from this morning, and it ties into directly what you were talking about with the Oakland A's. So we're just going to put a pin in it, and we'll get to it at the top of the hour. Hour number 1 of the MLB trade deadline extravaganza here on the lunch break in the books. Hour number 2 up next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
The town of Tucson thanks our brave first responders on the North Rim for keeping us safe. Because of your dedication, Tucson and the South Rim remain open to welcome visitors. Come enjoy cool mountain weather, breathtaking hikes, top-notch restaurants, and comfortable lodging just minutes from the Grand Canyon. Whether you're seeking adventure or relaxation, Tucson is your gateway to it all. Thank you, first responders, for making these experiences possible. Visit Tucson, where your Grand Canyon adventure begins.
Make memories you'll cherish for years to come. Join Miss Appleberry, JJ, Cody, Nina, and Cece for a lively Melon Patch musical adventure in this exciting interactive live show. Saturday, October 4th and Sunday, October 5th at the Arizona State Fair. Sing along. Dance along. Play together. Tickets on sale now at azstatefair.com and include Arizona State Fair admission. It's a celebration of connection and childhood wonder. Coco Melon Sing Along Live inside the Coliseum at the Arizona State Fair.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable.
Another person writes, finally an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust.
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy, we live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one, he's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
How about we get some pizza?
Nah.
Sushi?
No.
I thought you didn't care.
I don't.
Slow cooked.
Carnitas.
Tender. Juicy.
How did they get in our car?
I don't know, but we're going to Del.
Del Taco's new slow-cooked pork carnitas. Authentic spices and salsa roja give it a rich, deep, melt-in-your-mouth flavor. Pork carnitas are here for a limited time, so get some tender, juicy Del Taco today.
Del, yeah.
This fall, choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school with flexibility, personalized support, and an award-winning curriculum that's over 20 years strong. Now enrolling grades K to 12 at chooseprimavera.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break MLB trade deadline extravaganza. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan behind the glass taking your phone calls, 480-864-1060. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. The sentiment today over there, not happy with what the Diamondbacks have done so far, and we'll touch a little bit later on this hour of the show on what they can do the rest of the day that may turn that opinion around. But I want to start hour number 2 kind of just getting us back to equilibrium, right? Just getting us back to a level set. Where do things stand as we are now just 3 hours away, actually less than 3 hours away, 2 hours and 56 minutes away from the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. The big story today across the sport is what the San Diego Padres did this morning, trading for a relief pitcher, flamethrower, Mason Miller of the Sacramento A's, along with left-handed pitcher J.P. Sears,
in exchange for a package of prospects that was headlined by the number 3 prospect in the game, shortstop Leo DeVries. And in buy or sell, we talked a little bit about what the A's were building and where they are trying to get to. And they had an 18-year-old prospect who could very easily be the top prospect in baseball sooner rather than later. He is a couple years away. This is not an immediate return for Mason Miller. And I said that this is kind of what the A's do. They build these young cores, and the concern is, are they going to stick with it? Because in a vacuum, and perhaps this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I do that all the time here on this show. In a vacuum, a team that is as many games below 500 as the A's are, a team that is not as relevant as the A's are, right? They are just not relevant at all. Normally, in a vacuum, those teams trading a closer and getting back a huge prospect haul would not be that big of a deal. That's in a vacuum. In a vacuum, the A's absolutely do this trade. In a vacuum, the A's absolutely get back the number 3 prospect in all of baseball for a reliever, because while Mason Miller is special, while Mason Miller throws harder than anybody else in the game, routinely getting it up there to 101, 102. So you don't have everybody that can do what Mason Miller does. But I would believe, if I was working in baseball today and I believed in the processes that I put in place, I would believe that I could find more relievers. Everybody nowadays throws 97 plus. Now, does everybody throw 101, 102? No, granted, Mason Miller, unicorn special in that regard. But do I think I can find a reliever that can be just as good as Mason Miller? Maybe not have the same stuff, maybe not have the highlight reel every night, but do I think I can draft, develop, produce relievers at the big league level to patrol the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings for my ball club? You betcha I should be able to do that. That's easy. In today's game, getting relievers to throw that hard and be consistent in the back end of the bullpen is kind of commonplace. Everybody does it. Everybody creates relievers like that. So if I can trade my reliever and get back a shortstop prospect who is the 3rd best prospect in all of baseball, I don't know how many great shortstop prospects there are. Pitching, relievers in particular, a dime a dozen. So in a vacuum, you do this trade 100 out of 100 times. But the worry, and it is a very fair worry, to those fans in Sacramento, to those fans that still remain in Oakland, to maybe the fans that are developing in Las Vegas for their new stadium that is or is not being built, the worry is, great, we got back the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. We got back Leo DeVries as shortstop that could be our future franchise shortstop. But what if in 4 years, they just trade him before he's due a contract? What if we're doing this same conversation about the Mason Miller trade and we're saying it again about Leo DeVries in 4 years? And that is a fair concern if you are a fan of this A's team. That is the worry that is rightfully one that you have today, because they've done it before. They've traded all of these prospects. They traded Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas were A's. Sonny Gray. I can go on and on. Marcus Semien. We can do this all day naming A's that went someplace else after they were there and thrived. Yoenis Cespedes was a player that the A's signed. Went to the Red Sox, was great. Went to the Tigers, was great. Went to the Mets, was great. So if you have that worry today, I get it. And so, producer Evan, that's why I have the pushback to getting excited about this young A's core, because is it a guarantee that Brent Rooker doesn't get traded in the next 2 seasons? It is a guarantee that Tyler Soderstrom doesn't get moved. You read a tweet to me this morning, I think it was from John Morosi, that Tyler Soderstrom is not a name that the A's are discussing in trade talks. And I used some colorful language to describe how that's exactly what the A's should do. They should not be talking about or touching prospects and players like Tyler Soderstrom. Because if you want to give your fan base confidence that what you're doing this time around is something to believe in, then you keep those players, or else you are Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown. That's how A's fans feel. In a vacuum, the trade for Mason Miller today is a great trade for the A's. But these deals aren't done in a vacuum. They are done with the hindsight of this team is being moved from Oakland. This team is now playing in Sacramento. They're potentially moving to Vegas. You have a fan base that does not trust the ownership, that does not trust the front office. So that's why this is such a big deal today. It's a big move for the Padres, getting potentially one of the best closers, young closers in the game. But it is also a big move for the A's because it is going to test once again the loyalty of their fan base. So that's the point that I would make to you today.
This is a great move on paper for the A's, and I understand the question of, well, are we just going to see the same repeated process every time? But it does feel like they have the best young talent in all of baseball. And when are these guys going to do a contract? Kurtz, Wilson, Butler, Soderstrom, now DeVries. That core wins.
If you told me right now, if you could plot me in 2030 and say, Chris, they kept all of those players, all of the players that you just mentioned, they kept, I would say yes. And this is a good deal for the A's. This is a good decision because I'm pulling up their depth chart right now to just talk about this. Rooker, I love. Soderstrom is great. Langoliers is a defensive first catcher. You're hoping that the bat can get there at some point. But Butler, Kurtz, Rooker, that's a great top part of the lineup. Their pitching lacks a little bit from the starting pitching depth. Jacob Wilson's hurt right now. Max Muncy's on the injured list. He's not that Max Muncy, but the A's Max Muncy. He's pretty good. Denzel Clark's a solid player as well. We didn't mention him. They've got some players down in AAA that you can get excited about that are right around the corner. Again, if they keep this core, I'm with you. But don't be surprised when there are fans in Oakland, Sacramento, Vegas today that are worried that they're not going to keep the core in place. That's a fair reaction to have today.
No, I think that's totally fair, just given what has happened in the past.
Just be given the history.
But
in the middle of the night, the team was taken from you and moved to Sacramento.
I am tired of people talking about the A's, though, like they're the Marlins. They're not the Marlins.
They don't spend money. They're always making moves that just you question what their intent is.
And they're not the Pirates either.
To me, when they get the new stadium, when the new stadium is built and they're playing in Vegas, I think there's a chance that things turn the corner. But they in large part, they signed Luis Severino to the contract that they signed this offseason, the largest contract that the A's have ever given out to a player, in large part because the union was about to file a grievance against them for not spending money. And then you see the team trade a reliever like Mason Miller. Again, in a vacuum, fantastic trade. In a vacuum, a trade you make 100 out of 100 times. Unfortunately, this isn't in a vacuum.
But my biggest thing is, had any team in baseball been offered that deal that was a seller at the deadline, they would have made it 100 times out of 100. Does not matter the situation. You can't talk about, oh, well, the A's have done this in the past as a reason not to make that deal.
No, I agree. But I can understand the worry today. And I can understand why there are some fans in Oakland, Sacramento, Vegas that are just worried about what the future looks like. I think it's fair.
I think it's fair too. But I think by the time they get to Vegas, they are a 90-plus win baseball team.
I certainly hope so because there's a young core that I really like and a lot of young, good, cool players that it's fun to root for.
I was going to say they are, in 3 years, they might be the most rootable team in all of baseball.
They certainly could have that going for them. Their minor league system does leave a little bit to be desired because a lot of those players have been promoted and they've matured and now they're up at the big league level. Like Max Muncy was a player that you would have touted in their minor league system. He's now up at the big league level for them. So, yes, I get what you're saying. I hear you. I want to be there with you. But there's a mistrust there that you can understand kind of boiling to the surface on a day like today. But that's the big move of the day so far. The Padres pushing all their chips into the middle, getting Mason Miller and JP Sears from the A's in exchange for a prospect pool that included the number 3 prospect in baseball, according to, I believe it's MLB Pipeline that has DeVries as the number 3 prospect in the game. A handful of top prospects in the Padres system. DeVries is their top prospect, or was their top prospect. They traded their number 3 prospect as well in the deal. So a lot of prospect capital given up for Mason Miller, who's under team control for a pretty long time. And so this is the Padres' way of solving their closer problem beyond this season, because Suarez is a free agent at the end of the year, so they're able to get cheaper with their closer. They might actually be better with their closer. They're certainly younger. The stuff is better. And so it feels like they bought for this year, but also set themselves up pretty well for next season, for 2026. So AJ Preller is one of my favorite executives to watch on a day like today, because he is not afraid to be bold. He is not afraid to buy and sell at the same time. He's not afraid to sell and then buy. I mean, he is willing to get creative. He has never met a prospect that he's not willing to move in a deal. We talk about Les Snead in the Rams trading draft picks. That's the way AJ Preller operates with prospects. You had a list. I don't know if you have it ready to go, but you shared a list with me in the morning meeting of all the prospects that AJ Preller has traded away.
It's insane.
It's insane. James Wood's on that list. Trey Turner's on that list. Obviously, DeVries is now on that list. I mean, it's just, you go up and down the list. It is a who's who of players that are contributing at the big league level for clubs all over the place. It's just, AJ Preller is not afraid to be bold. He is not afraid to be aggressive. He is not afraid to make moves to make his team better. He'll buy and sell at the same time. He's aggressive.
I mean, it's more shocking every time I read it. Are you ready?
Fire away.
Trey Turner, James Wood, Max Fried, Josh Naylor.
Can you stop right there? Just stop right there. Stop right there. Read each name and then pause. Trey Turner, World Series champion.
Trey Turner, World Series champion, batting champion, multiple-time All-Star.
Okay.
James Wood seems to be the future of an organization.
The future of an organization in Washington. Fantastic young player.
Max Fried
just got $218 million from the Yankees, World Series champion with the Braves.
Josh Naylor.
I mean, it was good in Cleveland, good in Arizona. Now it's going to help Seattle potentially try to win it all. Good player.
Andres Munoz.
The closer for the Seattle Mariners right now.
Mackenzie Gore,
a frontline starting pitcher for the Washington Nationals.
David Bednar,
a closer who was just traded at the deadline to the New York Yankees.
CJ Abrams,
young shortstop for the Washington Nationals.
Xavier Edwards.
Okay, now we've dropped off a little bit here, but okay, another good prospect.
Zach Eflin.
Okay, a front line at times starting pitcher at the big league level.
Was a closer for a team that went to the World Series a few years back.
Closer for a team that went to the World Series.
Hunter Renfroe,
solid MLB player.
Leo DeVries,
number 3 prospect in the game. Not afraid to trade your top prospect.
Braden Nett,
another good prospect. That's all in this trade. These are the other players in this trade.
Ryan Weathers, Robbie Snelling, and River Ryan.
Just not afraid to make moves.
No.
Not afraid to move prospects.
That first 8 names.
No, it's a who's who. A who's who of players.
I mean, Trey Turner, James Wood, Max Fried. There's not many organizations that wouldn't love to have those 3 on their team.
No, a lot of money, a lot of talent, a lot of stuff in those 4 guys. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, I do want to hear from you. There's some comments that have been piling up in the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream that I want to get to. And I also want to address this. The Diamondbacks still have 2 major players that we're keeping an eye on here before the deadline. What would they need to get back for those players to change our minds about what the Diamondbacks have done thus far? That's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience, and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prepare for the Maximum Fun Tour. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, Saturday, October 25th. Special guests, The Wonder Years and Dinosaur Pile-Up. Tickets from $30. On sale now at livenation.com. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Part of the American First Credit Union Concert Series.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know it's not just a car, it also drives your children's dreams. So whether you're going to soccer practice, robotics club, or opening night in the school play, we help protect those dreams. Save up to 23% when you bundle auto and home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Matthew Stafford has delivered exactly what Sean McVay envisioned when the Rams went all in and won a Super Bowl. Veteran poise, arm talent, capable of unlocking every corner of the playbook. But in Los Angeles, even champions are on the clock. Now 37, Stafford enters yet another season dealing with the all-too-familiar duo of soreness and speculation. The Rams haven't exactly been subtle about what's next. They kicked the tires on Baker Mayfield in 2022, drafted Stetson Bennett 2023, and now rolling the dice on Jimmy Garoppolo. Trade rumors swirled this offseason. Nothing came of it, but the smoke rarely shows up without fire. With 2 first-round picks next year and a QB-rich draft class on the horizon, the runway for Stafford may be starting to shrink. The question now is how much longer he'll be asked to give everything they need. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough. They're lightweight. They're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, Chris Schubert with you. Our MLB trade deadline day extravaganza. We've been doing baseball all show long. We're going to continue to discuss everything going on in baseball as we are closing in on 2.5 hours until the trade deadline. But can I have a quick aside real quick before we get back into your comments on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream and we talk about Merrill Kelly and Zach Allen? I a little bit of a test today. I don't normally do this, but I brought in a soda today from home. I got a can of Coke Zero with me, and I put it in the fridge.
because I thought to myself, you know what would hit the spot just as hour number 2 of the program began? A nice, refreshing, icy cold Coke Zero. Now, the concern that I have is I did not put a label on the Coke Zero, and I put it in the community fridge. Now, I have not had anything taken from me in the past.
It's always nerve-wracking now.
But here's the issue. If it's like a lunchbox, I know someone's not going to go into other people's lunchbox. But a free loose soda, people may think that there was an extra one and it got thrown in there. So there was part of me that when I put my hand on the handle to open the fridge, I thought this wasn't going to be there. But it was there. So I've got my nice hour number 2.
You got one of the new Star Wars cans in there?
This is one of the new Star Wars cans, yes.
Who's on it?
This appears to be Princess Leia, I believe.
Lame. Have you seen the Darth Maul ones?
I have. I go to Costco. I go to Costco, and I get the 36-pack.
Nice.
And they are all the Star Wars-themed ones. So I have not done a deep dive into the cans, but now that you've asked, I will. And so I'll report back when I get to the Darth Vader one. But this one is Princess Leia and R2-D2.
Nice.
Want to hear from you on a day like today? You can join the program, 480-864-1060. But a lot of the chatter today has been over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. And I got to catch up on some thoughts over there that are throughout the program. Brian from Chandler, who's a P1, one of our strongest P1s that we have here on the program. He says, I guess I'm okay with moving 34-year-old Suarez, but not okay with moving Naylor. He's 28, hitting 290. You don't trade guys like this. You build around that. I said this at the time. I'll repeat it again. And I know that when it comes to this team and their direction, there is a bit of a disconnect between me and the audience. We disagree on this. And that's fine. That's what I love about this show. Josh Naylor was not coming back. They were not building around him because Josh Naylor's having a great season. You just mentioned it. He's hitting 290. He's hitting a bunch of home runs. He's a walking 100 RBI season. What's that going to cost in free agency? For a guy who's 28 years old, he's going to want a decent amount of coin. Christian Walker at 33 years old this past offseason, got 3 years, 60 from Houston. What's Josh Naylor going to get? He's going to get $28 to $35 million a season as a bat. He's making 10 this year in his last year under team control. It's at least double next season. And I just don't think that's a ballpark that the Diamondbacks can afford to play in right now. And that leads into something else that Brian mentioned, because he said philosophical differences here. You say a $180 million payroll is dreamland. I say, why shouldn't it be? I view the D-backs as a big market team. Let's start acting like it rather than the Cincy's of the world. Would I love the Diamondbacks to carry a $200 million payroll every single year? Yes. Do I think they are capable of doing it? Yeah. But until they do it, until they run this payroll back-to-back years, because they're at about $194 million for this season, until they run it for back-to-back years, I'm just not going to believe that it's the case. 2 years ago, the payroll ballooned. Why? Because you had a lot of money that came in from making the World Series. 2023, you make a postseason run, you get all those playoff home gates, all of the money that comes in, you get your share of the playoff TV money, you are just flush with cash. So you reinvest it into the team to keep the window open because it's basically found money. It's free money to the organization. And so Ken Kendrick, who's getting a little older, wants to see his team win, saw that they were on the doorstep in 23, said, you know what? I can put this money in my pocket or I can put it into the team because it's free money and we can bump up the payroll and we can go for it. So that's why you saw the increase in 24. You missed the playoffs. You don't make it to the postseason. You don't get that influx of cash. I said payroll is going to come down. Payroll's not going to be the same in 25. I was proven wrong because Ken Kendrick probably said, you know what? The Jordan Montgomery thing, that was on me. I told us to go spend the $20 million. I told us to make that move. I still believe in this team. We're going to reinvest. We've got another year that we can do this. Let's do it. But now you're 2 years removed from 2023. You're 2 years removed from that influx of cash. Now, do I think the Diamondbacks are going to go back to the days of a $100, $110, $120 million payroll? No, I don't think it's going to pull back that drastically. But are they going to be at 180, 190 next season? I don't think so. I think they're going to slot into the 135 to 155 range. I think that's probably where they're going to settle. And if they're above that, great. That should be a good thing. That should be celebrated because that is in line with what I think this team should be able to do next season, which is compete and be relevant in 2026. Be in the mix for a wild card spot. Be able to do what other wild card teams are doing this time of year. But I will believe it when I see it that this team is going to run back-to-back years or 3 straight years of super high payrolls. They just have never done it in the history of the franchise. So why would they do it now? When they're off 2 years where they're not going to win and not going to make the postseason and have that free influx of cash. The attendance at home has been really good this year. It's actually outpacing the last 2 seasons. That's going to drop off here in the second half, unfortunately, because the sell-off is happening. Now, hopefully you can get excited about seeing Jordan Lawler play every day. Prospects like Tyler Locklear playing every day. The bullpen arms that they brought in, hopefully they get a starter or two in a deal here that can get us excited about the future. We can start seeing some of these prospects come up and participate at the big league level. All of that would be exciting. But the results are not going to be there. And so I expect the money to come down. Do I expect it to be back to being one of the bottom 10 teams in the league? No, I think they'll end up being right around in the middle, which is where they were before 2023 happened. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, speaking of the trade deadline and speaking of the return of players that they've gotten back so far, we are still awaiting Merrill Kelly and or Zach Gallen to be on the move. 2.5 hours left in the deadline, and many of you are underwhelmed by what the Diamondbacks got back for Eugenio Suarez last night. And I have tried to hold you at the gates here, stop the storming of the gates from happening, and saying, hold your horses, relax, don't overreact to the return for the Diamondbacks at the deadline until everything is complete. If they miss the mark with Kelly, if they miss the mark with Gallen, then you can be underwhelmed about what they did at the deadline. But let's get there. Let's get to 3:01 this afternoon, and let's see what happens. So let me back that up. Let's answer the question. What has to happen between now and 3 p.m. for your minds to be changed? For me to say they did well? To me, there is still one thing that is missing. There is one thing that they have not prioritized, or at least not have been able to get back in any of these deals. I need a young starting pitcher. I need a young starting pitcher that can either make some starts down the rest of this season, or I think very strongly can make the team out of camp in 26 or very early into 2026 is going to be a part of my rotation. Because you're going to walk into an offseason, Merrill Kelly gone. Zach Gallen gone. Corbin Burns on the shelf. You have Ryan Nelson, who, by the way, producer Evan, file this one away as a conversation we should probably have here maybe next week. Ryan Nelson may be the ace of the 2026 Diamondback staff with how well he's been pitching as of late.
I was thinking that the other day.
Very good. He's been very good. You have Ryan Nelson. You have Brendan Pfaadt. You have Eduardo Rodriguez. You have 2 open spots. I want one of those spots filled at the deadline. I want one of those openings filled by a prospect. We talked about Chase Petty from the Reds. If Eugenio Suarez went there, you need a prospect that's close. You need a prospect that can get a handful of starts down the stretch here in 2025 and then get a full offseason with the team, a full spring training with the team, and then be ready to go for 2026. If you do that, you got a first baseman in this deal at this deadline. You got 3 relievers that I think are going to at least be a part of your bullpen right now, but more than likely a part of your bullpen in 2026. You've added 2 lottery ticket arms, one a starter, one a reliever that you can just keep an eye on. If you can get one starter by trading Merrill Kelly and or Zach Gallen, I think you've done a good job here. Not a starter that's in high A or double A that projects. No, somebody that's going to be ready to contribute in 2026. If you do that, I would say you had a successful deadline. It may not have the top 100 prospects that we thought you could have gotten, but if you get somebody who can start at the big league level right away, I think you will have done enough. And there's 2 trades for you to take a swing at that. So you could get that in one trade, and then in another trade, fill another spot. Either another bullpen arm, or maybe an outfield prospect that's close. There is still room. There are still avenues and pathways for this to be a really good deadline for the Diamondbacks. And so I'm going to wait and see what happens over the next 2.5 hours, less than 2.5 hours now, for the Diamondbacks. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. Would love to hear your thoughts. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. A lot of you in there joining and chatting away about the deadline activity all across baseball. When we come back, let's make some predictions of what might happen over the final 2.5 hours, both for the Diamondbacks and for the rest of baseball. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Phoenix Saturday Night Soccer is calling. Join Phoenix Rising on August 2nd at 7:30 p.m. as they take on Birmingham Legion in a can't-miss summer showdown. Enjoy the popular $4 3-for-3 menu with a $4 all-beef hot dog and $3 drink specials available all game long. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours now at phxrisingfc.com. Great food, great match, all for a great price.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Footprint Center, September 16th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails, live in Phoenix. Peel It Back World Tour 2025.
Raise a glass to summer with AJ's 25% off wine and spirit sale. Now through August 5th. Explore our exquisitely curated collection of wine and spirits and save 25% when you mix or match 6 or more 750 milliliter bottles. Indulge in quality and craftsmanship from world-renowned wineries and distilleries and save 25% when you buy 6 or more bottles. Only at AJ's Wine and Spirit sale now through August 5th.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Ken.
And we're the Owens family.
I love living next to my parents because when we live 10 minutes from them, sometimes I would dread a phone call coming because I wouldn't know if my mom was like, okay, your dad fell. He needs help. Can you get here right away? Now, since they're right next door, if anything happens, I can be there within a matter of minutes.
Photo home communities are wonderful. It's a very comforting feeling. It's kind of seems to be a sense of family, which I think everybody wants. And so, when you have that opportunity to live in a situation like that, it's everything.
We're always trying to get our friends and families to move over here. We would recommend Fulton Homes to our friends and our family. And we have recommended Fulton Homes to our friends and our family.
Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
With Whataburger's new Bigger Better Bundles, you can upgrade your favorite Whata meal into 2 meals. You can add a kid's Whata meal for $4 and take it home to your little you. Or you can add a double meat junior Whata meal for $5 and save it for later. For you. Or you can add a Whata Wings 9-piece for $6 and just enjoy that now. Yep, with Bigger Better Bundles, you can bring the kids along. Or give it to your Uncle Mo. Or stop by and surprise your coworkers. Upgrade your Whata meal with Bigger Better Bundles for a limited time. Only at What a Burger.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I enjoy doing this show every day. Today's just been a little extra special because I'll let everybody in on the secret. The entire show has just been on the fly today, which has just been great. Like during the break, producer Evan and I are just looking at each other like, hey, where do we want to go here? Because we're just kind of reacting to what is happening today. And it's been somewhat quiet, still waiting for some big moves for the Diamondbacks this afternoon. Still time to go for big players like Stephen Kwan, maybe Dylan Cease, Luis Robert could be on the move. Carlos Correa's name's been thrown out there as well. So still a lot of activity. And so it's just been fun to sit back, relax, and just kind of react to things as they happen. And so that leads to what we want to do now is there's still 2+ hours until the deadline. Let's make some predictions. Let's take some guesses, throw some darts at the dartboard about what's going to happen here over the next 2 hours. Now, do we want to do this player by player? You may. Okay, you hit the button. Hit the button. I've got something. Hit the button. Hit the button. Outfielder off the board. Cedric Mullins going to the New York Mets, being traded from the Baltimore Orioles to the New York Mets. That is reporting from Mets beat reporters as of a minute ago. So,
your live reaction.
This tells me that Luis Robert isn't going anywhere, right? Phillies traded for Bader. Mets trade for Mullins. That tells me that the White Sox are not moving Luis Robert, or the price was just so astronomically high that teams were like, we're good.
I was going to say, I think, we just watched a Ken Rosenthal clip, but them telling people they're going to pick up his option, I think is a bold-faced lie.
Well,
apparently it's not.
Well, no, just teams are calling their bluff. They're saying, okay, go ahead, pick up the option because we're not trading. Because who else needs a bat at this point? The Astros could use a bat, but they could use more of a left-handed bat than a right-handed bat, so they feel more in the Stephen Kwan camp. The Dodgers have been looking at a bat. Again, Michael Conforto hasn't been very good for them this season, so they could use somebody more from the left-handed side of things. That's why they're interested in Kwan. Same thing with San Diego. They've been linked to Kwan. They've also been linked to Robert, so they're the team to probably keep an eye on. And if there's a team that's going to meet the price tag for Luis Robert, it may be AJ Preller, San Diego Padres, but it does feel like they're not going to move Luis Robert. So that's where things stand right now. Okay, what do we want to do? Where do we want to take the
So I can go by kind of listed as
Cedric Mullins is going to be a Met. That's my first prediction.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were early on that.
Early on that.
I'll go by player by player.
Okay.
And then we can start with, do you think he's going to get traded?
And then you want me to predict the team is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Ryan, Minnesota Twins.
Doesn't get traded.
I agree. Does not get traded.
I know there's a fire sale going on in Minnesota right now, but there's like no rumors or anything about Joe Ryan.
And he's got 2 more years of control. You have him through 2026 and 2027.
Better chance Griffin Jax gets moved, even though he has team control as well. Better chance Griffin Jax gets moved than Joe Ryan, in my opinion.
Mackenzie Gore.
Not getting moved.
I saw a report this morning that they are going to sit on him.
Not moving
Mackenzie
Mackenzie
another
Gore.
2 years of team control. We talked about Dylan Cease. We don't think he's getting moved.
That's also a no.
We'll get into the more interesting ones. Stephen Kwan, who felt like picked up steam this morning. Now with the Mets getting Cedric Mullins, the Phillies made a trade for Harrison Bader. Who's left buying outfield bats at the deadline?
He's going to get moved, and it's going to be the Houston Astros. They desperately need left-handed hitting. And I think they'll go after Kwan, and they'll meet the price tag.
The Dodgers also a name that have kind of picked up the phone. Toronto could be a team.
Toronto
that seems interested.
Yeah,
in
they
Stephen
made a
Kwan.
move early this morning, picking up Shane Bieber from the Guardians. So there's a rapport there already. Now we just saw the Diamondbacks and Mariners do 2 separate trades in a matter of a couple of days. So the Guardians and Blue Jays could match up for 2 trades in a matter of hours, but it doesn't feel like that they're going to do that. So I'll go, yes, he gets moved, and he goes to the Astros.
Jarren Duran
does not get moved.
I agree. They're playing too good a baseball right now. Yes, they have a plethora of outfielders. I just don't see it. We talked about Griffin Jax, another guy under team control. I could see him certainly still getting moved.
I don't think he gets moved, but like I said when we were talking about Joe Ryan, he's the player that I think gets moved before Joe Ryan does.
Merrill Kelly. Obviously, we believe he's being moved.
Because he's the best starter available, right? Look around. I know Dylan Cease could potentially be available. He's not having a good year. Merrill Kelly's having the best year out of any of these starters. And he's a free agent at the end of the year. So you're not, getting a guy that you have to pay $15, $20, $25 million beyond this season. It's a rental, but he is the best starter available. The Yankees still need a starter. I think the Dodgers could look for some pitching. A bunch of teams could be interested in adding to their rotation ahead of the deadline. So Merrill Kelly getting moved, yes.
Both Miami pitchers, Edward Cabrera and Sandy Alcantara. This is an interesting one.
I think it's no.
Really?
I do. I think it's no. Because you are selling so low on Alcantara, right? mean, his value doesn't get any lower. Coming off of the injury, not having a good year, he still has team control beyond this season. You're selling him at his lowest value. And Edward Cabrera is a player who has years of control as well. I think he has team control through 2029. Edward Cabrera. What's that price tag look like? So I am skeptical that both of those players get traded. 2028, I'm sorry. Edward Cabrera is under team control through 2028. What is that price tag?
It's high.
It's very high. A team may do that in the winter. A team's not doing that right now.
Also, I'm not going to play the breaking sounder for this, but the Yankees got Jake Bird in a trade with the Rockies.
So that's not that doesn't warrant the sounder?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you think it does?
No, I mean, you've just shared a trade. I feel like maybe the sounder should have been played, but now you can't go back and do it in hindsight.
I could still play it.
No, that's okay. We'll save the sounder. We did not. When I pulled the sounder this morning and put it in the system, I thought it was going to get more use. It's been a very quiet 2 hours.
It really has.
Well, it's been fun. We've been reacting to some stuff, but it has been a quiet 2 hours.
Another name I haven't heard anything on, like not a single thing, is Ryan O'Hearn, who 4 days ago I would have told you is certainly being traded. I haven't heard anything about him.
He's a name. I saw John Morosi tweet something about him earlier, just as like a name to keep an eye on. But yeah, feels like he could be moved. Baltimore's is in fire sale mode, right? So you would expect them to make a move here.
And he felt like their biggest piece to move.
Maybe one of the pitchers. Mullins obviously was a big name. Charlie Morton could have been a big name as well if they move him between the deadline. He's been pitching better as of late. Sugano, the starter that they picked up in free agency from overseas, has been pitching well. But no, they've been relatively quiet so far.
Also, not going to play the sounder for this one because we talked about this trade.
So are you going to tell everybody that James Outman is going back in the Brock Stewart trade?
Is part of the
Brock Stewart trade from
Brock
earlier.
Stewart trade.
Interesting. You can't play the sounder for a trade that's already happened because
that's why I didn't. That's why I didn't play it.
That's fair.
Zach Gallen.
I'm worried that he doesn't get moved.
I am too.
And the reason why is not because of Zach Gallen, but it's because the market is so slow that I feel like a bunch of guys are just going to be left on their team. And Gallen is a guy, same thing with Kelly, but Gallen is a guy that the D-backs can hold on to and just give him the qualifying offer. And he either comes back on that short-term deal or they get the comp pick because maybe teams are focusing in other areas that the deals aren't meeting the comp pick value.
Pete Fairbanks.
Last 24 hours, there has been a kind of a groundswell of momentum towards a Pete Fairbanks trade, but I'll say no.
He's an interesting one, and the Rays are an interesting team.
Yeah, it's a trade deadline day. Of course, the Rays are an interesting team because you don't know what they're going to do.
No, never. It looks like the Angels are not going to be sellers, but Taylor Ward was somebody in the conversation. Another outfielder, another one that Baltimore has to sell. Ramon Laureano.
I mean, they moved Mullins, so you would think that frees them up to now circle back to all those teams that want to discuss Laureano, right? So
you would have to imagine.
You'd have to imagine that makes it easier on them. And you'd have to imagine that any team that called them about Laureano was also talking about Mullins with them, or teams that called about Mullins also asked about Laureano. So it feels like teams know where they're at on those two players. The Mets took Mullins. They must have felt the better price there or the better player. I don't know. But yeah, you would assume that this now frees up Laureano to get moved.
Also, the Mets, they need a bigger hole in center field.
Correct.
What Mullins can offer you is playing good defense in center field.
Correct. They had good defense. What they needed was a better bat. And I think Mullins at least gives them a little bit of an upgrade there bat-wise.
Marcell Ozuna has been a name tossed around.
Not getting moved. He has no trade clause.
Does he?
I'm pretty sure I remember reading that he has a no trade clause and he gets to dictate where he goes. So good luck with that.
Well, those are all the big names that are still in the mix. I think we talked about earlier a few weeks back, Adolis Garcia. It doesn't look the Rangers are going to sell. Nope. So some of these teams just aren't going to be sellers that we had thought. Luis Robert is a name that we've obviously talked extensively about. He's not going to be moved. It's going to be an interesting few hours. There's a lot of players still available.
We are inside 2 hours and 15 minutes until the deadline. A lot of good players available. A lot up in the air for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream, John says the D-backs are done trading. Is that a prediction, or are you reporting that? What is that about? Because the Diamondbacks are not done trading, and they're going to do something between now and 3 o'clock. We've got to take a quick timeout. When we come back, it's the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to. And on a day when we only focus on baseball, I can only imagine what's been stuffed into the leftovers today. We'll get to it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Sammy Kayla from the Varsity Sports Show here. No Vince DeLisio this week, only the interns. Join me, Mahirson Hassan, and Colton O'Connor live in studio this Saturday as we bring you another stacked edition of the Varsity Sports Show.
Join us as we welcome new men's lacrosse head coaches Dave O'Neill and Eric Bassett, along with Buckeye High School Athletic Director Matt York and our summer interns. It's all going down Saturday morning, 9 to 11 on KDUS AM 1060, Arizona.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. You know, most pest control companies use the same products we do. That's not the difference. But what is the difference is how we treat people. At Moxie, kindness counts. And it shows in every visit, every conversation, and every one of the 6,500 plus 5-star Google reviews our customers have written. Our field experts aren't just trained to handle pests. They're trained to treat your home, your family, your pets, and your time with the kind of respect you deserve. And our services come with a pest-free guarantee. Our methods and service just work better because our people are better. So if you want a pest control company you can trust in and around your home, give us a call. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back to wrap up today's edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Appreciate everybody joining us today. For those baseball fans out there, today was a good one. All baseball. It's time for the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the day. Just a quick update since it's being reported right now. Marvin Harrison Jr., dealing with some knee soreness, isn't practicing today. Just being called day-to-day. It's a sore knee, not serious. They're just being smart is the phrasing that was used by Jonathan Gannon. But obviously that is a big enough story to at least lead here in the leftovers, even though we've been a baseball heavy all day long. Just want to give everybody that update. Okay, producer Evan, what do you have for us here in the leftovers?
Well, that was my first one.
Oh, you had that ready to go.
I did.
I mean, it happened during the break. I wasn't sure if it was going to make it. I apologize.
saw it on Twitter.
I apologize.
It is okay. Tonight, though, sticking with football, is the Hall of Fame game. We have the Lions playing the Chargers.
Who cares?
And I can tell you who cares is both head coaches, who are two guys who we run through a wall for the Hall of Fame game. These are the two guys you want to see play in the Hall of Fame game every year because they're the two guys that thinks their season's going to depend on the result tonight.
Who cares?
I don't care. I will watch
0 seconds of the game tonight.
Really?
0. I'll tell
Really?
you what. My daughter's got softball practice tonight.
Oh, we'll see.
I go to softball practice and I sit there and I have my phone or my tablet with me and I'm usually watching something. It will not be the Hall of Fame game.
The problem is there's nothing else to watch.
There's plenty. Watch a movie or something. This would have been a great day to go see Fantastic Four. Not last night.
No doubt about it. I missed on that. Last night, Shohei Ohtani left the game with what is being reported as tightness or cramps.
Yeah, it was weird, but then it became less weird when he was in the on-deck circle ready to hit. That told me it wasn't serious. Like, if it was something serious, he would have been removed from the game. He was going to take his at-bat. They called it cramping afterwards, so it just felt weird, but it seems like everything's okay. So if you have Shohei Ohtani on your fantasy team, everything's all right.
Is that something does that injury, even though it's crampness or being tight or whatever it was, or cramping or tightness or whatever it was, does that scare you off having him pitch?
No, because Ohtani is really good at not pushing himself. He is really good at managing himself coming back from this injury. Even when he was healthy, he was really good at knowing when he could push himself, when he didn't need to, when he needed to back off. So I trust, again, for those of you that have Shohei Ohtani on your fantasy team, I would not be super worried about Ohtani dialing it back. I think he's going to be very careful with this, but also know when he needs to push. So I'm not worried about this at all. No.
We did have a signing today.
Okay.
The Bengals signed Seahawks
Trey Hendrickson to a deal. Oh, no. Okay.
Nope. Just when you thought it was Trey Hendrickson, the Seahawks signed tight end Noah Fant. Don't know how that's going to help them at all.
They you know where they need help? Defensively. They need help on defense. You know what would help them on defense? Signing their great pass rusher to a...
Wait, you mean he's not under contract?
Oh, no, he's under contract. He just wants a new contract.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So this morning in the morning meeting, we talked about Hall of Fame odds, and we had some odds for next year's first ballot Hall of Famers. And you happen to tell me who was leading the charge with the best odds.
Yeah, minus 2,000 to be a first ballot Hall of Famer next year was Larry Fitzgerald. And then number 2 at minus 900 was Drew Brees to be a first ballot Hall of Famer next year.
I couldn't believe that, honestly.
That Lowry
minus, not only is he first, the difference is that large. Like, Drew Brees has yards records, touchdown records.
Yeah, but Larry is one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. The only knock on Larry is he never won a championship. But other than that...
Is the knock on Brees that he only won one?
Of course. When you're a quarterback, it's that second one that always matters. Because no offense, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
No, 100% Nick Foles.
Right. So you got to win that second one. That puts you in an elusive club. Kurt Warner talked about this. Kurt Warner talked about that he won the one in St. Louis with the Rams and wanted to win the second one with Arizona because that puts you in an exclusive club, an exclusive tier that the greats of the position get to. So, yeah, I do think that's a knock. Hence why it was such a big deal when Peyton won his second one. Won his second one. I put in air quotes because he had nothing to do with him winning that Super Bowl.
What do you mean? What do you mean? He beat Brady.
He stunk out loud in that postseason. That season, he was bad.
No, he did not stink out loud.
He was bad.
In the postseason, he was fine. He was serviceable.
He was bad.
On a generational defense.
Oh!
Called up?
I see a highlight on social media.
Is he back?
That he was rehabbing at Salt River today, and he gets hit in the video by a pitch on the foot. What is happening?
You got to be kidding me.
I'm watching a video that says Jordan Lawler returning from injury. I got excited. That's why I did this. It said rehabbing at Salt River, and then it says he isn't running the bases, and it looks like he got hit here. And he looks like he's not. Here I go. I was getting excited because Jordan Lawler was back, and who knows? But looks like Jordan Lawler was playing today in some type of rehab game. So that's good. Especially because there's a third base spot that's open. Oh, you know what? I think for the final time we can play Lawler Watch. Because it had to do with
the full sounder.
Yeah.
In the professional baseball system, there are two separate but important groups:
the veteran third baseman who is trying to hold on,
Not anymore.
and
He's
the
gone.
young top prospect who is breaking down the door.
That was Jordan Lawler.
This is Lawler Watch.
Talk about
because when
can we
made
talk
this-
about
no.
how poorly
Yes,
that aged?
because when we made that drop, when we made that sounder, and I asked Mike, our production guy, to put that together for us, Lawler was playing great. Gino was not.
Gino was hitting like under 200. Now he was the biggest name at the deadline, 36 homers, and Lawler couldn't buy a hit.
Hence why we've played more of this than we have of the other thing.
It went almost as poorly as it could have gone.
At the time, I thought it was awesome. At the time, I thought it was some of our best stuff. And then we never got to use it, really, after that. That is going to do it for us here on this edition of The Lunch Break. Jim Rome is coming up next. We're back tomorrow breaking down everything that the Diamondbacks do here in the next 2 hours before the trade deadline. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya!